Much of the stress that people feel doesn't actually come from having too much to do. I know you're not probably believing that quite yet, but I really want you to think about it. It's not that we have too much to do. The stress comes from not finishing what we started, right? That lift that you get from finishing, the opposite is the stress that you're experiencing from not finishing. As we think about that, I want to introduce you to David Allen. So David Allen is the New York Times bestselling author of Getting Things Done, over 3 million copies sold. He has helped thousands of people change their productivity systems to really engage their energy and their talent. And he has created the GTD methodology, or the Getting Things Done methodology, that we bring to you in our training. In this video, he and I together are going to kind of overview what that methodology is. So this will introduce you to the GTD way of getting things done. Let's take a look. Anytime you find yourself overwhelmed, stressed, or missing important commitments, it's likely the way you're going about getting things done is the problem. Our focus in this training won't be on giving you more time or minimizing the amount of stuff you have to do. It will be on helping you to change the way you interact with that stuff in your work and life. David Allen has been studying the high-performance productive state to understand what it takes to get things done.
The essence of getting things done is this. Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Let that sink in for a minute. It seems so simple, and yet it's really profound. A few years ago, I was coaching a very bright, upcoming professional named Danny, who was learning the reality that the better you get in your career, the better you better get. He was walking into a new role, new organization, and a new industry. So with all the activities associated with getting up to speed on industry trends, making connections with the right people, and staying on top of the day-to-day mechanics of his new role, he was feeling buried before he even started. He quickly accumulated a hefty backlog of emails and found that his calendar was booked solid at least 2 months out. A lot of people were taking time on his calendar because he wasn't responding to their emails. Sure, he was responding to the immediate and urgent requests, but a lot of those non-emergency emails still required his response to move projects forward, important projects that he had delegated. And in the end, his teammates were finding that the only way to get his input was to get in his face. And his life at home wasn't any less complex. He had just moved his family from a different country, he had kids, a new life, and all the details that come with that. When I began my research 3 decades ago, my question was, what do you and I do when we're at our best? I wanted to understand the productive experience, its real essence, and how to achieve it. What are the behaviors and skills people employ when they are in their most productive state? That state where we can be totally present, focused, and appropriately engaged with our life's work. The skills and principles I discovered were the foundation for the Getting Things Done methodology, or what most people call GTD. With a massive backlog of emails, endless stream of meetings, and no end to his to-dos, it seemed Danny was stuck in the middle of a typical unproductive experience. Most of us might beg for more time or for serenity, but none of that would help Danny truly figure out how to stay on top of all this stuff. I knew that we couldn't change the amount of input coming into his life. The focus needed to be on changing the way he engaged with that stuff to help him get more control over his life and more focus on each task he was trying to complete. And when he immersed himself in the methodology, in a matter of a few weeks, he went from his typical backlog of emails to 0. Now, it's never really 0. Stuff is always coming into our lives. But every few days, he was completely current on his inputs. The change in his habits started to have a disproportionate influence on his entire life. Pressure started coming off his calendar. Why? His team started to get the answers they needed. Danny was in control, focused on what he really wanted to be focused on, and for the rest of his team, the whole environment changed, he said, because his team could trust his reliability and connection with their needs. When you incorporate the simple and comprehensive core skills of GTD, you'll discover new ways to direct your work and lead your life.
We'll teach you what David taught Danny and thousands of others in similar situations. The core skills of GTD are like your core muscles. They're involved in literally every movement your body makes. These skills will give you the control and presence to navigate whatever life and work throw at you. First, you'll focus on how to capture everything that owns a piece of your mind and attention. Then you'll clarify what these things really mean to you so you know what to do next. O stands for organize. When you organize, you learn to put things where you'll be reminded to review them later. And once your stuff is captured, clarified, and organized, you'll learn how to quickly reflect in a specific, powerful way before you engage in the tasks at hand. When you use your GTD core, the result is a clear mind, which lets you perform at higher levels, be more creative, more present, and less stressed. When your team fully embraces this approach, you'll notice higher follow-through on commitments, increased trust, improved engagement, and higher productivity. And it has nothing to do with the amount of time you have to get things done, or even the number of things you have to get done. It has everything to do with how you engage. How quickly can you get to your productive state? How long can you stay there? How will this benefit all aspects of your work and life? Let's dive in.
Want to see the full product preview? Click the link below in the description.